Welcome to your deep dive. This week, we're diving into the world of startup funding.
Ooh, exciting.
It's a bit like being a financial detective.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking for clues about what the future holds, what kinds of companies are attracting those big investments.
Yeah, it's like a sneak peek into what problems investors are most eager to solve.
Exactly. And to guide us through this financial maze, we have our resident expert.
Happy to be here. Always love talking about this stuff.
So, where are we digging for these golden nuggets of information today?
Well, we're going to be looking at a blog post called Bearhug Recruiting, Early and Growth Stage Tech Startup Funding Recap.
Catchy title.
Right. It's written by Craig Ward, who really seems to have his finger on the pulse when it comes to fund trends, especially in fields like environmental tech and enterprise software.
And Bearhug Recruiting, that name rings a bell. They're not just some random blog, right?
Oh, not at all. They're actually a recruiting firm that specializes in, you guessed it, startups.
So they're really in the thick of it.
Exactly. They're the ones finding the top talent for these up-and-coming companies, so they have a pretty good idea of what skills are in high demand.
That's like having insider information. So this recap we're looking at, what time frame are we talking about?
Let me see. This one's from the week of April 22nd, 2024. So a little snapshot of investor sentiment from earlier this year.
Perfect. Let's jump into the data then. One of the first things that struck me was the sheer amount of money flowing into sustainability-focused companies.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just a trend anymore.
Yeah.
It's a full-blown tidal wave of investment. Sustainability is hot, and investors are putting their money where their mouths are.
It's great to see that because for a while there, it felt like all talk and not enough action.
Right. But now we're seeing real commitment. Take EcoTrack, for example.
EcoTrack.
Yeah, they just secured a cool $30 million for their asset management platform.
30 million. What do they actually do?
Yeah. So they help businesses, especially restaurants and stores, track their resource usage, like energy and water, much more efficiently. This allows them to identify areas where they can reduce waste and save money.
So it's a win-win situation.
Exactly. It's good for the planet and good for business. And it's not just about making existing businesses greener either. Code Labs, another company in the sustainability space, just got $30 million to develop their building automation technology.
Building automation. So like smart buildings.
You got it. They're aiming to be the Salesforce of making buildings smarter and greener.
Okay, I get it.
Okay.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
Think of it this way. Salesforce provides all those software tools for businesses to manage their customer relationships.
Right.
Code Labs wants to do the same thing, but for buildings, making them as environmentally friendly and energy efficient as possible.
That's a pretty ambitious goal.
It is. But if they succeed, we could be talking about a revolution in how buildings are designed and operated.
It's exciting to think about. Now, we can't talk about emerging tech without mentioning the elephant in the room, artificial intelligence.
Ah, yes, AI, the buzzword of the century.
And this report makes it very clear that AI is more than just hype.
Oh, definitely. Investors are pouring money into AI applications across a wide range of industries.
It's not just about robots taking our jobs anymore, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about using AI to solve problems and create new opportunities. Take Two AI, for instance.
What do they do?
They snagged $3 million for their AI-powered job simulations.
Job simulations. Is this like those virtual reality training programs some companies are using?
It's a similar concept, but specifically designed for sales roles. So instead of just reading a resume or doing a traditional interview,
Right.
companies can use Take Two AI to create realistic simulations of what it's like to actually work in that sales role.
So they can see how a candidate handles a tough client or a high-pressure sales pitch, all in a virtual environment.
Exactly. It's about making the hiring process more efficient, more accurate.
And potentially less biased.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is a huge plus. And that's just one example.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. AI Squared, another really intriguing company, raised $13.8 million.
What's their specialty?
They're tackling a challenge that a lot of businesses are facing, making AI actually useful.
I see. It's one thing to have all this data. It's another thing entirely to know what to do with it.
Precisely. And that's where AI Squared comes in. They help bridge that gap between data and actionable insights so companies can actually use AI to make better decisions.
It's like having an AI consultant on call 24/7.
Right. And then you've got Newbird, who raised an impressive $22 million for their AI engineer called Hawkeye.
Hold on. Hawkeye? Like the superhero?
Well, maybe not in the superhero suit, but with some equally impressive abilities.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Hawkeye works alongside human IT teams to help them identify and fix software glitches faster and more efficiently.
So instead of replacing IT professionals, this AI is more like giving them a superpowered sidekick.
Exactly. It's a fantastic example of how AI can be used to augment human capabilities rather than replace them.
It really highlights how the future of work is likely to be about collaboration between humans and AI, not a competition between the two. And that's something that Bearhug Recruiting probably sees firsthand.
Absolutely. The skills that are in demand are changing. It's not
Mhm.
enough to just be good at your job anymore.
Yeah.
You need to be good at working with these advanced tools.
It's like that old saying, adapt or die, but in this case, it's adapt and thrive. And speaking of adapting, this report also features xfactor.io, who just secured a cool $16 million for their AI-powered revenue platform.
Oh, yeah, they're doing some interesting stuff. What I find fascinating about them is how they're bringing together data from sales, marketing, and operations.
Those are often separate departments within a company, right?
Exactly. And that can make it tough to get a complete picture of what's really going on. But with xfactor.io's platform, all that data is brought together and analyzed by AI.
So it's like having a 360-degree view of your business.
Exactly. It allows companies to spot patterns and opportunities they might have missed before.
And hopefully make more informed decisions about how to grow their revenue.
Right. It's all about gaining a competitive edge in today's data-driven world.
It makes you realize that in today's business world, data really is king. But for every company focused on making millions, there's one trying to ensure justice is served.
Oh, that's a great point. And speaking of which, this report highlighted ClaimScore, a company that just secured $3.15 million for their rather unique AI.
Unique how?
Their AI is designed to detect fraud in class action lawsuits.
Now that is a niche application of AI.
It is, but it's a great example of how AI can be used to improve fairness and transparency, even in specialized fields like law.
It's like having an AI detective carefully combing through the evidence to make sure everything's above board. But with all this talk about AI and automation, it's easy to forget that people are still at the heart of any business.
It's so true. And thankfully, this report hasn't forgotten that either. They highlighted Nectar, a company that focuses on employee recognition and rewards.
Interesting. What did they get?
They just raked in a massive $40 million in funding.
Wow, that's a significant investment. It suggests that even in our tech-obsessed world, creating a positive company culture and recognizing employees' contributions is more critical than ever.
Especially with the rise of remote work, keeping employees engaged and feeling valued is essential for companies that want to attract and retain top talent.
It's a good reminder that even the most advanced AI can't replace a motivated and appreciated team.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of things that are essential but sometimes overlooked, this report highlighted the importance of good data.
Oh.
Dataplore, a company that provides geospatial data, just secured $10.6 million in funding.
Geospatial data? That sounds pretty technical.
It is, but bear with me. Imagine a world map, but instead of just countries and cities, you see the locations of businesses, supply chains, and even customer demographics.
So it's like a map of the business world.
Exactly. And that's what Dataplore provides. They help businesses, especially global enterprises, make smarter decisions about expanding into new markets.
They're like the cartographers of the business world, but instead of paper maps, they're using AI and machine learning.
You got it. They take mountains of data and turn it into valuable insights.
Which brings us back to that key takeaway. It's not enough to just have data. You need to know how to use it effectively.
Data is the new oil, and the companies that can extract its true value are the ones poised for success. It's like giving companies X-ray vision into their own operations.
And those who can see clearly, well, they have a definite advantage.
Absolutely. It's a data-driven world out there, no doubt about it.
It really is. And for our listeners who might be thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but what does it mean for me?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. So what would you say are the key takeaways here? What are investors really looking for in 2024 and beyond?
Well, judging by the companies and technologies attracting the big bucks, a few things are clear.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First and foremost, a compelling mission is essential. It's not just about making money anymore.
Right, we've been hearing that a lot lately.
And it's true. Investors are looking for companies that are purpose-driven, tackling big problems, making a real difference in the world.
So it's about having a good story, but also a good strategy.
Exactly. You need both. A great mission will get you noticed, but you need a solid plan to back it up.
And that probably means having a strong team.
Absolutely. Investors want to see a team with the experience, the passion, the drive to make their vision a reality.
They need to know that the people behind the idea are capable of turning it into something big.
Right, it's about execution as much as innovation. And speaking of innovation, it goes without saying that cutting-edge technology is key.
Of course, we're talking about startups here, not your grandfather's manufacturing company.
Exactly. These companies are pushing the boundaries of what's possible, whether it's AI, clean energy, or something we haven't even thought of yet.
They're not just innovating, they're disrupting entire industries.
Precisely. And that ties into another important point, scalability.
Ah, yes, the ability to grow quickly and efficiently.
Exactly. Investors are looking for companies with the potential to scale rapidly, to become the next big thing.
It's not enough to have a great idea. You need a plan to take that idea and turn it into a global phenomenon.
You got it. So to sum it up, a compelling mission, a strong team, innovative technology, and the potential for scalability, those are the magic ingredients for attracting investor interest in today's startup landscape.
Those are some incredible insights. It's amazing how this one funding recap has given us so much to think about. But if we had to distill it all down to one key takeaway for our listeners, what would it be?
I'd say it's this. The companies that are thriving in today's market aren't just chasing profits. They're driven by a desire to make a real impact on the world.
They're solving problems, pushing boundaries, and creating a better future.
Exactly.
And that's something that investors are increasingly taking note of.
Absolutely. It's not just about the bottom line anymore.
It's about betting on companies that are aligned with their values.
Exactly. And that's a trend I think we'll see only continue to grow in the coming years.
It's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur, that's for sure.
It really is. If you have a great idea, the passion to see it through, and a commitment to making a positive impact, there's never been a better time to take the leap.
Well said. It's been fascinating exploring this world of startup funding with you, expert speaker.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of innovation.
Until next time.
Keep those entrepreneurial spirits high, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.